Hey, what's up, YouTubers? So I think today we're gonna do up some barbecuing. I've been barbecuing probably every night this week. I love barbecuing. It takes my mind off of stuff and just get to kind of relax. I figured I'd do a couple recipes, show you guys what I like to make, and show you guys how our barbecue goes. I think this recipe is gonna look pretty good. I think you're gonna love to try it, and we'll get this grill good and hot, and I will start getting stuff prepped up. It's going to take a little bit for these flames and this coals to die down. One of the things about barbecuing, you really need to let the coals turn white, let them get good and hot. Start your fire up, just leave your grill open, and just let it go slow. When I was younger, I used to rush barbecuing. I mean, I wanted my food right then and there, and so one of the things I learned, you just can't do that. And you got to let it just go slow and steady and enjoy it. So I think we're going to do up some ribs, some chicken, probably a bunch of other sides. And I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so I think I'm going to start off prepping up some chicken wings. These wings right here are Tyson wings. They're a pretty good brand. I ended up getting these for $1.57 a pound. These are the full wings. Now, I know people always think, well, I like the drumettes, or I like the wing portion, or, you know, these are super easy to cut up and process and turn these essentially into wings that are as good as Hooters or Wingstop. Even better if you're doing them on the grill. And at $1.57 a pound versus the regular almost $3 something for the drumettes. I got a video that I did on the best way to process these. I'll actually put the link in the description below, so you guys can, if you're really interested in getting inexpensive wings that taste awesome, you can check out that video too. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get started processing these wings, and I will be right back in a minute. Okay, so I cut them up, and the way I cut them up, I just separated my drumette from my wing portion. I did on these ones leave the tips in there only because I'm going to be outside grilling, and essentially when these are done, they'll sit on the grill and slow smoke for a while, and I'll nibble on them, and I love nibbling on these ends. They tend to catch a lot of flavor. Because it's mostly skin, there's not a lot of meat in there. A lot of the flavors will absorb in there. What I'm going to be using today to marinate these in, I'm going to start out, I'm going to put a little cayenne pepper. Don't think because it's cayenne pepper it's going to be super hot. This is just going to give it a little bit of a kick. There's not a ton in there for the amount of wings that's in there. The next thing I'm going to do, a little bit of fresh ground pink Himalayan sea salt. Pink Himalayan salt. I like pink Himalayan salt. A lot of people will use sea salt. Some people will use regular iodine salt. I just really like that. This is the only real brand that I will recommend as of right now. McCormick's Grill Mates. I love these things. You will always see me when I am cooking using these somehow. This is the Montreal chicken seasoning. I always put this on any kind of chicken I'm doing. I always use this. I use it in my pepper. I use some stuff in my peppers. I have a vegetable one that I put on my salad. This is just a must. Next thing, any kind of teriyaki sauce will work. I just happen to be using an H-E-B flying sauce. This is teriyaki sauce. Now the next thing I'm going to be adding is some oyster sauce. I use this when I cook a lot of Asian food. This stuff is really good. It adds a lot of flavor to it. For those of you that don't know what oyster sauce is, I actually just pulled out a can out of my pantry. It's going to look like this. That way you'll know what you're looking for. Any kind of store that sells to Asian restaurants will have this. I happen to buy big cans. The reason I buy the big cans is I will then open the can, fill up these bottles right here, and essentially save some money. Because if you buy a small bottle of that stuff like this, you're going to spend about $6 or $7, depending on where you are in the country. I can buy these cans right here for about $9, and essentially I'm going to get a whole lot more. It is about stretching your dollar, make your dollar last longer, and then really you're going to save a ton. So let's get this marinated up. I'm going to put some oyster sauce in there, and I will be going to mix all this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, and there you have it. It's all mixed up, ready to go. Now, if you have a lid to it, go ahead and put a lid over it. I'm going to be putting some plastic wrap over the cover of this, and I'm going to put it back in the fridge probably for about an hour. And the heat is in there. The coals are hot. And this wood, because there's still chunks of wood, I actually fill mine with charcoal on top. I put some mesquite wood in the bottom. That way it will get good and hot, and it will keep the fire going for a while. Now, for anybody that don't know why I brushed a little bit of oil on the grill, oil is going to basically, it's going to burn quick. It's like in your car. And by putting a little vegetable oil, a little olive oil if you want, whatever you have in the house, I use vegetable oil for this. And I'm actually using vegetable oil that's been cleaned and already used once. That way I'm not wasting money. By putting that on there, it will pick up the fire. And all of a sudden your grill will literally catch fire real quick. Only that way it will kind of clean off the grill. So I'll drop a little bit on here just so you guys can see. See that? By doing that, that's cleaning my grill really quick. So I just pulled these teriyaki wings out of the fridge. They've been in there covered for about 2.5 hours. They're ready to go on the grill. The grill's opened up a little bit now. And right after I pulled them out, my son had just told me, he's like, "Oh, I was hoping you were going to do the barbecue ones." And so I was like, okay, I'll mix up some barbecue sauce and make up another batch. I like to mix my barbecue sauce with the honey. And I use real honey, and I'll mix that in with the barbecue sauce, and it'll come out delicious too. So I'm going to get these ones seasoned up a little, and basically cook them kind of dry, and then end up putting them afterwards in a barbecue sauce. And these ones are going to be teriyaki. They're going in. They've already been in the wet sauce for a little while. And I'm going to get these on the grill right now before I do anything else. So let's head on over to the grill. So the grill is still nice and hot. I mean, I might go in there and mix around them coals just a little bit. Got that rack of ribs slow cooking in there right now. And I'm going to go and move the coals around and put these wings on. So now if you put a lot of charcoal in there like I did, I put some full mesquite logs at the very bottom. By hitting it a couple times, breaking it up, moving stuff around, you might reignite the fire. So just make sure if you're putting on wings, put them towards the back of the grill kind of a little bit. The heat's in there. The heat is still going to cook these up like nothing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these in and get the cooking process started. Now, one thing when you, if you did a sauce like this, they're not dry rub, this is like a wet sauce. Go ahead and get them a little wet just before you put them on the grill. That way some of that sauce stays right on there and heats right up there. Look at them. Them are already, they're going to be good. So there they are, guys. I just got them all on there. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to start preparing a dry rub for the other batch of wings. And I'm going to keep this sauce, and I'm going to put it in a cup. Only so when I'm done, as these start cooking a little bit more, I come back out here. I don't want them to dry up, so I'm going to rub a little bit of this sauce back on there here in a little bit. And if you're spilling it on your brisket or ribs that you're cooking underneath, it ain't no big deal. You ain't going to eat that tin foil anyway. So let's go ahead and shut this, get the temp up, and start the cooking process. So I will be back in a few minutes, guys. Okay, so I just got another batch of wings done. Now, the only thing I did differently on these wings was I ended up cutting off the tips, the very tip of the wing. Reason being, these are going to be my son's. Kids, they, if you want to compete with Hooters, they've got to look like Hooters wings or Wingstop. So I did cut off the wing tips. That way they're all wings and drums. But for seasoning, our seasoning's way better. We can beat all these places with seasoning. We just need the appearance to look the same to compete. So what we're going to do is, first thing I'm going to add is some pink Himalayan salt. Then I'm going to add some I'm going to add some of the smoked pepper in these ones. As always, I like to add a little cayenne pepper. Not a whole lot, just enough to give it a little extra flavor. McCormick's. You can't not put McCormick's in it. Once you guys try this, I mean, this stuff's so inexpensive. I buy this in bulk when it goes down. I see it for like $1 or $1.50 when it's on sale, and I will literally buy a bunch of this. So my cabinet is just full of McCormick's products. And I'm actually using some sea salt, celery salt, and ironically, this is McCormick's also. So now what I plan on doing is I'm going to brush a little, once these get cooked a little while, what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush some honey on them. This is some fresh honey. For those of you, I don't know if I posted a beehive video. I think I did actually. I posted a garden and beehive video at my parents' house. They have their own hives, so I always have way more honey than I can use, as I just pulled out a big bottle just to kind of show it. But yeah, you got to add the honey at the very end, towards the end. It'll give it a really sweet flavor. And then I'm going to use a store-bought brown sugar barbecue sauce that I'm going to mix a little bit of honey with, and use that as my dressing on these at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and get these seasoned up, and I'll be back. Okay, so I just took a wing off to test it, and one wing led to two, and two to a few, and this is so good. I can't tell you guys how good these are. The teriyaki sauce basically caramelized with the sweetness of the oyster sauce, and they are just amazing. The flavors in here, I don't want that fly touching my chicken wing. I'm just kind of showing you guys how nice they look. They have a beautiful golden brown to them, and a good sweet taste. That I'm telling you, if you add some of that oyster sauce in next time you make a marinade, it's going to give it an incredible flavor. A lot of Asians use it in a lot of their cooking, so, and it can be any brand of oyster sauce, but it is really good. So I recommend you try it out. I'll be back in a few once I take them all off the grill, and I'll plate up a plate and show you guys what they look like. Okay, so what I just did was I took a barbecue sauce that I like and put it in a bowl, and then I took some of that honey that I told you about right here, and I put that in there, and I just kind of mixed it up. I'm just using a clean, this was a paintbrush at one time, but I never used it for painting. I actually bought them, that way I could just use them and throw them away. So I mixed up the sauce, and now I'm going to paint it on the wings. So as you can see, that's what it's going to look like once you start painting them. But I'm going to go ahead and close this down and basically let that caramelize up a little bit on there and kind of cook right into the wing essentially. So I'll be right back, guys. So there you have it, guys. Them look delicious. They taste delicious. I'm going to put a little bit of parsley flakes on there. This is just going to be for decoration. If I had some green onions, I would actually cut some of them up and put on top, just for like a real pretty garnishing. And check out them wings. Them look so good. So I'm going to end up taking these off the grill.